my gut instinct.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of crime, you know, identity theft, just weird shit that goes on, that it's the underworld of the music industry, and you just don't really want anything to do with it.
Right.
You know, I don't.
So,
I've got children, you know, I need to, like, that whole thing of your reputation, and yet some of the content from that time, look, I've got this song that's called Keys and Crooks,
right.
and it's totally about people that have, you know, more than one mobile phone and the world of the underworld. You know, you think about the criminal sort of implications of when you release a song. Are you talking about something that could end up in court? You know, and that's the whole thing within hip hop, you know, it's someone just might come off the top with something, and it is a real situation that's happened, and they're trying to talk about it, but they're not necessarily going to the police and making a report. It's a song, and part of it is real, and part of it is them trying to make sense of it, you know, and I mean, that's a whole other thing, but I do think that there is a big conversation in Australian music that needs to happen around what happens when someone's disclosing information, you know, around duty of care.
Yes, totally. Well, you've read it. You've read our duty of care. Well, at least we have a, you know, on our information sheet, you know, there's a duty of care thing that's fully disclosed. How are you doing? Are you okay emotionally?
I'm fine, yeah.
Great.
Yep.
So I'm guessing that you've already talked about the fact that you experienced excessive teasing and sarcasm.
Yeah.
Again, you know, that would have been during your hip hop evolution. Would that be right?
Yeah, I mean, there was I'm trying to think of what it was called. There's a warehouse in Fortitude Valley. This is a long time ago. This is when I was doing breakdancing, and actually SBS made a documentary they put it on Eat Carpet,
right.
Pacific Film and Telly, because I took them to the warehouse, and it was quite good. I mean, because I'd found some female MCs,
right,
but one of the breakdance crew were just a bunch of dickheads, really. They hated me. They hated that I was a feminist. You know, I was just like, you don't belong here. You can't be in this scene.
Yes.
And I'd be like, well, you know, what are you going to do about it? Like, I am. Deal with it, you know? It was, yeah. But again, it's the underworld. Like, there are people that you just don't want to hang out with. And I didn't want to. Or there were some people that I would just like, you're straight out of jail, you're in and out of jail, you're a drug addict. I wouldn't bring you to my home, you know. So it's, safety. I think that physical safety.
I'm hearing that. I'm hearing that's a very strong theme for you. If I can give you some feedback, it's a very, very strong theme about your awareness around your own safety and your own physical safety and obviously the safety of your kids. That's an incredibly strong theme, but, you know, and the but is not me saying but, not excusing anything, but it seems clear to me that there are events which have caused you to feel, lack of safety. And they're the events that I'm looking for. So when you're talking about these events, you're going, oh yeah, look, I wouldn't go there, I wouldn't go to these people, I wouldn't be involved with those people. But then when you told me the story about the guy with the Japanese,
Brendan.
So that's they're the kind of things I'm looking for. Those stories, which are the stories that have, in a sense, informed your sensitivity and your sense of needing safety. So can I ask you if you can go back and think about any other events? So that these are all of it. I mean, and here the classic one you told me was the story of the guy in the van. I mean, of course that's, you know, it's traumatic, but also then it makes you wary to ever get into a car with another man again.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the thing, right? So I'm releasing my album, and I think, who would I tour it with? You know, trust issues around who you'd make a band with. And as you know, a touring schedule involves, you know, you're intimate with people and long hours and trying conditions and all of that. Like, I'm 100% certain that it's taken me to when I'm 40 to about to release something.
Yes.
And then to be really controlled about why I'm a music producer as well, because then I've got autonomy over exactly everything, down to the gear, how I present the work, where I pitch it. Everything is, back in the day, I would have been really open to collaborate and to have ensembles and to be trusting of just, blow in people, whatever.
Yes.
As I've gotten older, I'm way more wary about trusting my money, my credit cards, where I would stay, all of those things. They need to be really highly controlled so I can feel safe.
Yes. Because I completely understand. I would say, gee, my reaction is that you have good cause. I mean, given those kinds of experiences, I mean, the experience of being approached to be involved in what amounts to criminal behaviour by the...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's
Yep.
bordering on human trafficking.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just disgusting.
Right.
It is, yeah. And that's the thing, it's just so unethical. Yeah, what I was going to say something around, where was it going with the trust thing? I don't know, I'm just thinking about debts or, lending someone something and knowing they're going to wreck your stuff and that you can't get it back, or, because I don't have a credit rating, or, even the rent party, who I've got on the bill, most of them are all people who are older than me.
Yes.
And established musicians with insurance and, their own gear. None of them take any drugs.
Yes.
I've had to really eliminate anyone who is a drug user, which is really difficult in the punk scene and the music industry. Often there's a lot of people using heroin or speed or pot or, but it's a duty of care thing for my children. If I'm going to expose them to any creative form, they're going to have to be around really, responsible adults, basically.
Yes. Can you think of any other particular circumstances, specific events where that caused you that you can look back? I mean, some of these might, no doubt there's trauma attached, but you can look back and go, yeah, that's what caused me to have this sensitivity around these issues. I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to think. It's quite interesting, when you ask me to think of specific things, because there's been so many, I just kind of glaze over. It is a thing that happens, and that's something that does happen to your brain when you have trauma. You can kind of want to fall asleep, or you know what I mean. I'm blank, but I can't. And I know that there is one. I know that there's a time when I decided to teach yoga and go into the fringe stuff, was definitely in relation to probably just being, you might be staying at someone's place because you don't live there in that town. Yes.
And they don't leave their key out or something, and then so you have to sleep on a couch, and then you're basically homeless because you're physically in public space at any, and you can't sleep properly because at any point someone could try and rape you. I've got a physical memory of that, of going, they didn't leave the key out, I've gotten back from the gig, it's really late. Or I used to ride my bike a lot in Brisbane. If I perform, I'd ride my bike, and maybe 2 a.m. is the time, I remember one time this person was trying to jump off a bridge,
right,
and I was riding my bike over the bridge, and I stopped. I actually sang them "You Are My Sunshine," which was it was like a poignant, beautiful moment.
Yes.
But the kind of shock of being like a 20-year-old, and you're on a bike, and it's really late at night. I'd have taxi drivers that, I might not get paid at the end of the night, and I'd have no money, and I'd book a taxi and then have to run from a taxi because I've got no money. These situations where things are kind of, when you're so vulnerable, you don't have people around you that you can give you $20.
Yes.
And I think it's got to do with being young and being poor, because other people I know, that you just wouldn't run from a cat.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know anyone. I mean, I know people